Welcome everyone. Let's get right into the stock market technical analysis. I'm going to point out what I'm seeing in the charts today, and trade ideas that lots of these trade ideas are working really nicely today. It's been a pretty good day. Most of my trades that I pointed out are working. So, guys, if you find value in the content, leave me a thumbs up, and I'll continue to try to pump out this content that hopefully is able to make you some money. That's the whole goal here. Everything on the channel is just my opinion, not trading advice. Let's get right into it, guys. Triple Qs. Okay, a couple things to look at. We'll start off on the daily chart here. On the daily time frame, we're clearly breaking down. So we've got a trend line that we've really been walking up this blue trend line right here since September of 2020, and you can see we basically last week we had a couple false breakdowns, and then finally we're getting consistent selling in the market. Consistent selling in triple Qs. So likely as more people take notice, the selling's going to intensify. On the short-term time frame, maybe we'll get a bounce. On the hourly chart, I do see, we're starting to get that bullish divergence on the hourly. You can see here, right there, how we're kind of making higher lows on the momentum indicators, and yet price made a new lower low than the previous low. So short term, we have some bullish divergence. Maybe that's good for a bounce up to the trend line. I can't say for sure. So what I'd watch for is the price action. If we continue to sell down and we take out the divergences, then likely we're going to go for a lot lower, basically. All right, so that's what I'm watching on that one. And to give you guys an idea, like a heads up on this one, look at some of the FANG stocks. Apple. All right, Apple's right at some support. This is where the buyer should be at. You can see that we held support here and we held support right here. And it's right about 167.75. And we're right there again. I think we're going to break. And the reason why I would say that is because, one, we've already tested it. We already tested it right here once on the breakdown. And we're right back at it, pushing against that support line. So I think we're going to break. And two, we had negative divergence on the momentum indicator. All right, there's your negative divergence. So this former high right up in here back on January 4th time frame was a divergent high. And then we put in negative divergence, and we started to break down. So I think we're going to go lower, which tells me that the Qs is likely going to go a lot lower as well. But again, need to see that support level go, which is, sitting about 167.80. Microsoft, you can see what they did today. We're basically sitting at support as well, 306. That's kind of former resistance right through here, and then it was support. And look at this battleground zone that we're kind of, we're testing it and kind of battling around. I think that's going to break, but, we need to see it. And Google's a little bit above support. Support on Google is about 2,669.75. So I'd like to see that one go for a sell signal. That just helps with the triple Qs. And then Amazon's coming down to its longer. It's got a little ways to go, but it is coming down to its longer term trend line. This one goes all the way back on the weekly chart, all the way back to 2008. So you can see we held support once, twice, and we're right there, getting close. Not quite there. We've got a little ways to go on the weekly chart. Getting close to that support. So I would expect at a minimum, at least some sort of a rally there to take place. From where we're at now, it's still another, about another 3% to the downside. And I would expect at least somewhat of a bounce. So maybe what we'll do is we'll hit that, bounce up, and then, break that in the future. But I would expect at least somewhat of a bounce. If you don't get the bounce and you just break right through here and we get a sell signal on this bigger trend line, then we've likely put in the longer term top in the bull market just across the board in the stock market. And I know that's kind of hard to say with one stock, but the thing is, when you start seeing the major players, the stocks that are really responsible for most of the growth in this bull market over the last 12 years, you start seeing those ones breaking their key bull market trend lines. It's just signs that the general bull market is likely seeing its top. So something to look at. Okay, sectors. Let's look at a couple sectors. XLF, more selling today. So again, the sell signal on XLF came right back here on the 13th. And if I show you on the hourly chart, there it is. You have a bearish rising wedge, and you broke that wedge right there at the end of the day. That was your sell signal. From there, this thing's pretty much just been all down ever since. Down about 5% so far in XLF, and looks like we're going lower. All right, see today we're breaking that support that I had, heading down to the next level of support. This is better support down here at 38.90. That's a lot better support. So we're probably going to get a bounce at that level. But as far as I can tell, any rips should be sold into. So the way it works is we sell down and then we bounce. We sell down and we bounce. And it's sell the rip. It's not buy the dip, it's sell the rip. The reason why it's sell the rip on this, you have an uptrend line here on XLF coming off the March 2020 lows. Negative divergence had been building for quite a while. We've been building negative divergence for quite a while. We broke that trend right here, rallied, and now we're starting to sell. So I think this is a downtrend. We're gonna bounce and continue the downtrend. All right, something like that over time. So it's sell the rip. As you rally, that's opportunities to add to shorts or maybe get into a new short. XLK, look for a break of this. This is just another kind of look at the tech sector. You can use triple Qs, which has Amazon in it, but XLK just doesn't have Amazon in it. For the most part, it's pretty much the same. And it's got a trend line right here. You see the trend line, and we're coming right down to it. So we're pretty much at support. This is where the buyer should be at. If we break this trend line, which I think we're gonna do. See the negative divergence right here? How we're building divergence as we were making these new highs. So that tells me we're likely about to break trend, but we need to see that trend line go. So maybe we get a bounce and then we'll break here in the future. That's probably what I'd expect to happen. But just keep an eye on that trend line. If we break, that's just another nail in the coffin and giving you just kind of another check mark for the bearish case. Here's a trade idea, IYR. This is real estate sector. You can see you have an uptrend line right here. We've got support on this trend line, multiple tags. It's a really well-defined trend line. And you can see recently we're breaking. All right, so there's your sell signal. Pretty close to it. We're a little off, but it's basically pretty close. This is kind of a defensive sector, so you're likely, this isn't going to move down as quickly, but we do have a sell signal. So I'd be looking for some of these lows. We've got a reaction low right there. This looks like a relatively good support right in here. So I would say that's probably our near-term target, which is going to be about 101.66. That's a drop from where we're at now of another 5.5% before we hit some sort of a support. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty good support. So we'll see. We'll watch that one. Here's some of these short trade ideas. Ford down 7% today. So again, talked about that, how I took the short right here at resistance. I've been talking about it for a few days now. And so far so good. We've been selling off. So my first level of support is just going to be this trend line down here, depending on when we hit that $21 roughly. And rolling out, that's your upward price channel. So we're still within the bullish channel. So I just am trading the top of the channel down to the bottom, probably cover some of that trade, if not all of it down there. And then we'll wait for a break. And that'll be our next sell signal, our next indication to get short on Ford. As of right now, though, this is a trade. It's up about, 10% in just a matter of a couple days. So looking good there. Okay, IWM, but before I continue, guys, if you're interested in learning about technical analysis, how to use this skill set to be profitable and make money in the markets, then take my stock market technical analysis course. I'm going to teach all these concepts about how to find trades before they play out, so that you're not just jumping on some trade that's just ripping to the upside, hoping that it continues to go higher. Getting into those trades early and, making the money when everyone else is chasing. All right, guys. IWM, right at support, basically. I've got the support right here at about 209. We're slightly below it. We have one reaction right here from January 29th at about 204.88. And you can see that's pretty much where we're at right now. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt and see if we can get a sell signal. I think we're going to gap down and trap all this bullish money, this sideways bullish money here. But so the way I'm doing it is I've got a starter short on IWM, and then I'll I'll add to that if we get that gap down. All right, because I think if we get the gap down, it's going to be a pretty quick move to the downside as all these sellers start, or all these traders start to sell. Probably get a small reaction here at 193, and then we've got more major support. It's about 173.50 down to about 169.70. So that's kind of my target, which would be right down in this zone for a trade. And, from where we're at now, that's a drop of about 17-18%. So it's pretty much putting us in, potential bear market or right on the edge of bear market territory. Actually, for this one, it would be bear market because we got to go from the all-time highs, which would be down 30% from the highs. So it's putting us in bear market territory for this indice. We'll see if that plays out. Again, just need to see this final level go right where we're at, kind of the lows from today. If those get taken out, then we're likely heading down. Okay, gold. Gold's breaking out today. So again, the key level that I'm watching, let me get rid of this one real quick. So look, we've had a reaction right this 1832, 1833. We had one, we were rejected once, twice, 3 times. This was a false breakout 4 times, 5 times. So we were rejected 5 times on that specific level. With one false breakout, but we're breaking above today on pretty good volume, good candlestick, good price action, up about $30. So I think this is probably the real deal in gold and the miners in general. I've been talking about how these look like some of the most bullish stocks. Again, when I say something's bullish, it's bullish because it has a bullish technical setup, not because the price action's been ripping to the upside. A lot of the time, especially on Kramer and stuff like that, you'll see, usually they call out these trades where the stocks have just been ripping to the upside and they're like, I like these, buy this. And that trade's already played out most of the time. So I like things, they look bullish when their technicals are there, but the price hasn't really moved bullish yet because I want to be in early on that. All right, so we have one final check mark to really put this pattern in the dust, and that's this potential trend line right here. All right, we have the high from the May 21 time frame. We had another reaction here, and it looks like we're going to rally right up to there. We're probably going to get a reaction, maybe a pullback, back test this 1830 area, and then break on out. So final area is really right about in here. We need to see that go, and if that goes, I don't see much resistance till we get to, there's a little bit of resistance right up here, and this is roughly 1960. Beyond that, all-time highs, and most likely most likely beyond. Okay, I think if we head up towards those all-time highs, we're likely going up higher and going to start making new consistent highs in gold, and that's what I think is going to happen. So I'm positioned for that. You'll see some of these miners like Newmont breaking out. I mean, these are all breaking out in one way or the other. They look really good. Newmont's breaking out today to the upside, up 5%. This Harmony one is up 16%. Not fully breaking out, just kind of trading to the top of this near-term range, but still holding this bullish trend, and that's the key. All right, you'll see here November 15, 2015, support, support with the one little false breakdown, support, and we're just impulsively breaking or impulsively moving off that trend line. So bull market, basically the bottom line is the bull market looks intact in gold and the gold miners. And I'm positioned that way. Here's C's short trade idea. We got a sell signal yesterday, little counter trend bounce today, nothing major. Nothing's technically changed here. We're still on a sell signal. So there's your sell signal, a little counter trend bounce. We could kind of grind along, but I think we're going lower. So the target on this one, I think we possibly could get down to the 36.65, but these levels are still relevant. 46.50, 43, and then that 36.50 area, 36.65 or whatever. GameStop, not much to report here today. Just kind of a repeat. It looks like an inside day, so we're just trading within the same range. We might put in a little bit of a flag here and kind of grind higher up to about 120. 120, 15. Yeah, about 120. And then likely get rejected right there and head lower Most likely we're heading down to this 45, 46 range. So that's all I see on GameStop. AVGO, more selling. Again, we took the short up here at resistance. I pointed it out on this channel. And, you know, from that entry, we're profitable by almost 16% in just a couple weeks. So looking good and heading lower. All right, so next level of support, 546.60. Probably get a reaction there. I think we're likely to get some sort of a bounce there. And so it'll probably look something like this. We'll hit this, bounce. We could bounce all the way up to here. You know, kind of muddle around. We might even grind around in this range for a little bit, but ultimately break, head down to the next level of support. So again, it's sell the rip. You know, as we sell, come down to support, and as we rally, you want to, you know, this is where you can add to a short if you get up here. And we should just continue to break down. Okay, key levels to watch. That resistance is about 594, and that support right now is about 546. 546. Yeah, it's about 540, 546-ish. And lift, you can see just more selling today. As far as I can tell, we're going down to fill this gap. I've talked about this one. We shorted it right up here at resistance at about 46, and we are just heading south. So gap fill is the target. I'm not going to wait for it to fully gap fill. I'll cover as we enter into that gap. All right. But all in all, you know, so far we're profitable by almost 20%. Okay, so everything's working out, guys. What else do you want? Everything's, you know, running at, you know, 10 to 20% profitable on all these trades that I pointed out recently. And so I'll continue to look for them. You guys give me a thumbs up. Let me know if I missed something. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.